Hi, my name is Representative F from Elliott, and you've just been placed on alert. Welcome to the Elliott Alert. I have today my guest, Mr. Stephen Jones, the Deputy Director of the Department of Human Services, also state legislator. I think, when did you serve in the legislature?
I served from 1998 until 2005.
2005. And before then you were?
I've been a city council member.
Right.
Served on the AETN Commission, the Public Broadcasting Commission, and a whole lot of other things in between.
Well, so I just want to let my viewers know that you're most definitely a statesman, and before you actually became the Deputy Director of DHS, as we say. So I'll start with my first questions. I've had a couple of Arkansas Department of Human Services people on my show this month, but my viewers want to know who and what title do you hold, and can you tell us a little bit about DHS?
Absolutely. Well, again, I'm Deputy Director of the Department of Human Services, and DHS is your largest state agency.
Yes.
For your viewers who are watching, about 1.5 million Arkansans, of the about 3 million people in Arkansas, about half of them come through our doors on an annual basis.
Wow.
We take care of everything from paying for birth, so at the earliest point in life,
right,
all the way through to those who are aging and or disabled, and a whole lot of people in between. There are 10 divisions within the department that do various things, and there are 2 deputy directors at the department. I'm one of the 2, and my counterpart, Janie Huddleston, she supervises 5 divisions, and I supervise the other 5 divisions. And then there are 3 support divisions that report directly to the director. So it's a huge undertaking. We take care of a lot of people, and a daunting task, but it's a very rewarding task in a lot of ways.
Now, of one of those departments that you take care of, I know DYS, Department of Youth Services, is under your scope, and you work closely with the courts and some other entities, right? That
is correct. The Division of Youth Services is one of our divisions, and primarily young people who are adjudicated come through that system. And one of the things that I've wanted to do since I've been at the department, when I got there, obviously I'd served in the legislature and was familiar with it. But when I got to the department, I said, with a name like the Division of Youth Services, shouldn't we be doing more than just taking care of those kids who are incarcerated or have been adjudicated through the courts? And we've really shifted under the leadership of Ron Angel, who's the first person that I hired when I came to the department. He's done an outstanding job. We have kind of really shifted. Obviously, we still have that primary focus to keep those kids who have been adjudicated secure and in confinement until they serve their time out and they're ready to get back and be reintegrated into society. But we're also focusing toward more prevention, partnering with community-based organizations to really keep children out of the courts, keep them out of the criminal justice system. We think we're really then fulfilling our mission to serve youth.
Now, when you say you're kind of shifting and your focus is more trying to help more community-based programs, are you guys working with the courts to kind of do that, to work with the community-based programs and stuff like that? Because you guys are more so the funding sources of it. Is that correct?
That is correct. DYS, well, actually, I see the whole youth services composite as being a 3-leg stool, and it can't stand without each of those legs. One of those legs, obviously, is the Division of Youth Services. The other leg that is an extremely vital leg is our community-based providers, which are around the state. Here locally, our community-based provider is United Family Services. That's It's a local employer, employs a lot of people in this area, and provides a very vital service to the youth that we serve. And that third leg is the courts. And the courts,
They're very vital too.
yeah, the courts locally.
Right.
Judge Brown, obviously, from Mr. Judge Ernest Brown, who is now he really fits the definition of a statesman.
Right.
He served in the legislature as well, but Judge Brown really has a passion. He serves with integrity from the bench, and really has a heart for the young people who come before him and want to see them get their lives back together. I've had the honor and the privilege to sit in his court before to not only see him, but a very professional staff, along with United Family Services, who also bring a high degree of professionalism to serving the youth from this area. So we're pleased, and if you will, if there is a fourth leg, and you cannot leave the community as a whole out.
Right.
We can't do what we do without the community get involved as well and wrap around those young people whom we serve. So that's what makes it work for us.
Right.
The courts, our community-based providers, because we really provide very little direct service through the department. Most of it is done through our community-based providers or our residential providers. We have oversight and we do monitoring and other things with our staff. But we don't have as large a staff as we did back when I was in the house, because we got out of the residential business and started doing contracting it out to private contractors who've really done, and we're fortunate. We have a really great group of providers that we work with.
Okay, and I'm glad you said that. I want you to hold that note. We're going to go to break, and we're going to expound a little bit more on that.
Very good.
Lead paint poisoning affects over 1 million children today. Just 3 granules of lead dust can harm your child. If your home was built before 1978, log on to leadfreekids.org.
I really didn't want to tell anybody, and I didn't.
Hiding sadness makes you more and more sad.
If you're strong enough to just open your mouth, that's all it takes.
The healing is in me and can also be extended to others.
Giving voice to what you're feeling is part of the healing.
Welcome back to the Elliott Alert. I'm sitting here with my dear friend Stephen Jones, who's the Deputy Director of DHS. So, you know, that's a whole lot of power, even in the 5 divisions that he shares. So, now, Deputy Director or Steve? Or
Steve.
Okay. I want to know, I remember when I used to come up to the legislator, I used to see you a lot. And, you know, some of the way how you work the floor and the people. Now, tell me a little bit about your background and you that made you able to do some of those things.
First of all, I missed that. I really did enjoy serving. That was a real high honor to have, as you can attest to, Representative Elliott.
Yes, sir.
To have the constituents of your district to have enough faith in you to send you there to be their voice on Capitol Hill. So I never took that for granted, and I still count that as one of the highest honors that I've had in my life. But to tell you a little bit about me, I'm a country boy, as I often say, from the Delta. I grew up in a small town up in northeast Arkansas in Earl.
Right.
That's where I went to high school, and that's where I, I still attend church. I still attend the same church where I grew up.
In Earl?
Although I don't live in Earl anymore.
Okay.
I live in Marion. I still attend that same church, really actively involved in my church. When I got home from college, I got, my background is in business. My educational background is in business. So I got in business, involved in business, and sales with Tandy Corporation, Radio Shack, and got into their management program, managed one of their stores over in Memphis, Tennessee, which is from where I live. Memphis is, from Earl, it's 30 minutes. From where I live now, it's about 15 minutes. So and I thought that I had something to offer in business. I never thought I could make my vocation has always been business. My avocation has always been public service.
Right.
I never thought that I could make a living at public service. So I always had to have, something that generated income so that I could provide for my family. But I also always wanted to stay involved in public service. So I got elected to the city council at a pretty early age in Earl, my hometown. And I served there for 4 years, and I ran for a couple of other offices unsuccessfully. One for mayor, and then for county treasurer, and then I ran for the House of Representatives, and was successful in that race. And and along the way, I've served on boards and commissions, just finding any way that I could to give back. Even when I was unsuccessful in those races, I still bounced right back. After I lost the mayor's race, I founded and organized the Earl Chamber of Commerce. After the unsuccessful race for county treasurer, then Governor Bill Clinton appointed me to the Public Broadcasting Commission. So it was always, every time I thought I was down, I just came right back. So I always had an opportunity to serve in some capacity, and which brings me forward to where I am today, serving in the Department of Human Services. I tell people all the time that I have my dream job now, because I get to still serve people, still help people who are at low points in their lives or at a point of need, and get paid for doing it now. And so I couldn't ask for anything better.
Okay. Well, thanks again. My next question is, what's a normal day like for you, and what does it entitle?
Wow. A normal day for me. I'm typically at the office between 7 and 7:30 every day, and a day for me can end at around between 6 and 6 o'clock, 6:30. So that flies in the face of that myth that government employees go to work around 9 o'clock and leave at 4:30 and take 2-hour lunch breaks. Even though I have had 2-hour lunch breaks, but they're usually working lunches. But during the day, I probably get 150, 200 emails throughout the day, either from legislators or from some of your constituents or from some of our employees. With 8,000 employees, a lot of employees sometimes want to reach out to people in the director's office. A day for me will entail, it could entail visits to the governor's office, sometimes 2 and 3 visits over there. Because we work closely either with budgetary issues or with strategic management of the department. The governor's been really excellent at giving good leadership, allowing us to bring on board the kind of management team that we think we need in order to run the department. And we've got a great team, not just in the director's offices of our various divisions, but even those middle level and those frontline workers that we have all around the state and our offices in each county. I mean, we're extremely proud to have them. So working with employees, dealing with constituents, issues for legislators, dealing with someone from the general public who may call, working with some of our providers, and we have numerous providers. So very busy days. And somewhere in that day, I have to do some strategic management and planning and other things like that.
Wow, that does dispel that myth.
It's usually done early in the morning or late in the evening. Because during the day, I don't really own it. Even though I start each day with a schedule. And some meetings I do have to take, but oftentimes that schedule, with a department like ours, a crisis can occur, and it can just kind of wipe your schedule out sometimes. It's not often, but it can happen.
Well, I know being a legislator and being a part of the system and being in public service prepared you a lot for that.
Indeed. Actually, going back to my business background, you may have heard this. I never had an occasion. My family, we were blessed. We never used the Department of Human Services for food stamps or for child care assistance or anything like that, or Medicaid. My dad was a truck driver and still, he retired. My mother was a homemaker for most of the time, but at the end she worked in a manufacturing plant. But they provided for us and never really asked the government for anything. But I know that a lot of people do need the government. So my background in business, I think, was a huge, still today plays a huge impact, because if I didn't have happy customers, I couldn't make a living. And in the Department of Human Services, I see our clients, those 1.5 million people who come through our doors each and every day, they're our customers.
Right.
And I've worked with our staff, we have worked with our staff to make sure that they all understand that we have one reason for being in those offices every day, and that's to take care of that individual that comes through the door. So I think my business background weighs heavily because I believe in customer service and excellence and in pushing and pulling the best out of our employees, and I think that they rise to the occasion and meet and exceed those expectations. Obviously, with 8,000 employees, you'll have some that need a little bit of work.
Right.
We work with them, we try to correct them, and for those constituents, for those clients that we serve, when we find one that we can't correct, we don't have a problem moving them and helping them to find something somewhere else that's a better fit for them, because it's important that those people who come through our doors get service and get taken care of.
And I'm glad you said that, because that's nice to know as a legislator. If we have issues, that we can come to you and get those things addressed, especially for our constituents who actually may not know the direction to go to, coming to a legislator or someone else to help them do that, and knowing that you and your department will work with us. That's a great thing.
I give my cards out all over the state to constituents like yours. You have my personal cell phone number.
Right.
And I think it's important to have access. You don't need, when a client of yours is at a point of need, you don't need to go through a lot of people to get help. That's the reason I want you all to have direct access to me. And I have an open door policy at my office. My administrative assistant, kind of scowls at me sometimes because of the volume that comes through from time to time. But, again, goes back to my business background. I was always accessible. I needed to be out there in the arena where the clients were, where the business was. And so I brought that same mentality to the Department of Human Services. And it's a bit unconventional, I think, but I think it works well for my management style, and I think a lot of people appreciate that access.
And I'm sure they do. We're going to go to break.
Two out of 3 people with diabetes die of heart attack or stroke. That was his wake-up call. This is yours. Ask your healthcare provider how you can lower the risk. To learn more, go to diabetesactnow.org.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone, but you're not alone. At IAVA.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. IAVA.org. We've got your back.
Welcome back to the Elliott Alert. I have my dear friend Stephen Jones, the Deputy Director of Department of Human Resources. Again, Deputy Jones, you were just telling us some vital information in reference to how you guys, you most definitely use your business background on actually customer service, and how you guys work with the customer and want to make sure that DHS is customer service friendly. My next question is there anything that you would like to share with our viewers about DHS that they may not know?
I'd like for the viewers to know that we have 8,000 professionals around the state. Those individuals are part of the community where they serve. We don't necessarily have somebody from Fayetteville bringing them over to West Memphis to run an office in West Memphis. We'd like to grow our leaders from within the community whenever possible. So they're invested in the community. They're members of chambers of commerce and Rotary, and involved in churches there and locally in the community. They know the clients that they serve. They are part of that community. So if there's anything that I'd want them to know, is I'd want them to know that. I also would like for your viewers to know that DHS is a huge economic driver in the community.
Yes.
If you take the food stamp benefits out, you'll find grocery stores that'll go out of business.
Right.
if you take the Medicaid benefits out of a community, you'll find doctors and dentists and pharmacists that will not be able to sustain more than likely without those clients that they're serving. So it's a huge part of the economy of those local communities. And finally, we're grateful to have the privilege to serve the people. It's called in our name, the Department of Human Services.
Right.
Our job, our mission is to serve the people around the state of Arkansas.
Okay, well, wow. You've covered a lot at DHS. Is there anything left that you want to add, or with the duties that DHS do, or anything that the viewers may not know?
I would like to add, Representative Elliott, that the demands on our department, just like in many other state agencies, continue to grow during tough economic times.
Right.
Our budgets aren't growing at that rate.
Right.
In fact, our staff is about the way that it was. Let me take you back to when I went to the legislature in 1998. DHS was serving about 750,000 employees. 750,000 clients,
right,
with virtually the same number of employees today. Today, we serve 1.5 million Arkansans with that same staff. So we've doubled our clients, where our staff has remained, for the most part, constant, if you take out the stimulus positions, and they'll be gone at the end of the year. So you can't; they're not a part of our normal workforce. They've been a big help. The stimulus has really helped us get a lot of projects off the ground that we normally wouldn't have. Our children who are in our juvenile detention facilities have more adequate schools with better equipment these days. There were roofs that were crumbling, sidewalks that were crumbling, all kinds of problems that the stimulus dollars helped us to get off the ground. But the point that I'd like to make is, since the staff hasn't grown, the demand has grown, we've had to be smarter and more efficient about the way that we do business. We've brought online new technology. We've streamlined where we could. We've just had to think, if you will, outside of the box to figure out ways to continue to serve the needs of our ever-growing client base. And I think we've brought some of the best minds in our department together to help us find that way forward. And they've really risen to the challenge. And I'm happy that we're bringing online technology now that will help them. In the old days, everyone who needed service, for the most part, from the Department of Human Services, had to go to one of our county offices and walk in there and stand in line and try to get services. Well, today and the future of DHS is going to be more technology focused. People will be able to go to the website and do a certain degree of their eligibility application, do a certain degree of their application for eligibility online.
Wow.
That's the future of our department. We are having to do things better because, again, you know this, being an appropriator, that they're limited state funds. So we're fortunate to have, again, the ability within our department to help put that kind of infrastructure in place so that we can meet the needs and demands of the future.
And do you think that the growing technology has been able to let you guys be very efficient with some of the stuff that you just mentioned?
There's absolutely no way we would have been able to meet the demands that we have now at our department if we hadn't been doing that. We've just put together a new processing center. With stimulus dollars, we were able to build a processing center in Batesville, Arkansas. 100 people will be working out of that facility. Certain types of applications will go directly there. They won't go into a county office. There's been a huge scanning of documents going on around the state, scanning documents, creating more space within the department. So in the old days, it was easy for files to get lost and things of that nature. Well, now there's an electronic record of these files. We still have to keep some of the paper documents for some amount of time, in some instances by law. But for the most part, it's helping us to be faster, leaner, more efficient, and again, to help meet the needs and demands of our clients. By the way, I want to put in a plug. We've got our local administrator down here is Lee Turner down in this county, and he does an outstanding job for us down here, along with his great staff and the DCFS side. So I want to say that we've got some great employees for our department down here in this county. that I'm just amazed at how they do so much with so little.
Yeah, Lee Turner's he's a very good guy, and I've been knowing him for a while. So you're absolutely right. He's a hard worker, and he wants to make sure that he does the best for the community.
And you'll find that most of the staff is that way here.
Well, finally, what do you see the future of DHS and your role in the Delta Regional Authority Board?
Okay. Delta Regional Authority is one of those other duties as assigned, but it's my high honor to be Governor Beebe's board representative on the Delta Regional Authority Board. Delta Regional Authority, as you know, is tasked with helping to capture additional federal dollars and bring to the 42 counties that comprise of the Delta region of the state of Arkansas. The Delta Regional Authority is 8 states that run alongside the Mississippi River, beginning at Illinois, going all the way down to the Gulf, and then going over and picking up Alabama. And I've been on board, I guess, for about 3 or close to 4 months now on the board, and it has been just a real honor. We've got some challenges with the strains on federal dollars.
Yes.
The president has to make his spending priorities to put those federal resources where he sees fit, and hopefully he will continue to look favorably on the Delta Regional Authority because the country has gotten a significant return on its investment. Each dollar that's invested within one of those counties really does turn over time after time again. We make a focus to make sure that the projects that we fund are regional in nature, that there's additional funding involved with it, and that it creates jobs. And so the future of that is a little bit uncertain. Hopefully we'll know when the president sets his new budget. The future of our department, we still have some demands with the growing Medicaid cost. So we'll have to continue to be vigilant, to be as efficient as we can, to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our clients with whatever resources are there, to stretch them as far as we can, to get the federal return on each dollar that we get, 3-to-1 match or whatever the match rate is. We continue to look at that. We've got people on our staff who are experts in those fields. So the future looks good because we've got good people in place, but we have to be cautious.
Well, thanks again.
And responsible.
And I just want to let you know, thanks again. And while you're sitting on Regional Authority, don't forget us over here in this small area. I know you won't.
Absolutely not. In fact, when we were doing our Delta Regional Authority, when we were doing our tours, we called the Delta Caucus at the time, and it's still in existence. This was founded when I was in the House of Representatives. I was one of the original founders. We came down here to Pine Bluff, went down to the port, just to symbolically make a point that these are the kinds of areas that need additional attention. I think it's horrible that a part of the country with the richest soil is home to some of the poorest citizens in this country. And the Delta Regional Authority is one vehicle that can help to change that.
Well, thanks again, Mr. Jones, or Steve, our Deputy Director for DHS, and I just want to let you know you've just been placed on alert.
And it has been my high honor.
Okay, well, thank you. Thanks again, and have a good day.